So here's exactly how I went from being a shy, little introverted kid to being a expert seeker, as some people have called me. So a long time ago, I was a very, very socially awkward person. I didn't have many friends. I actually didn't really talk to people. I didn't hang out with people. I couldn't communicate. When somebody would ask me a question, I would stumble and stutter over my words and freak out. I never did in-class presentations. As a matter of fact, I was scared to speak. Except nowadays, people say that I'm a good speaker. People come up to me all the time and ask me, how did you become so good at speaking? Stefan, how did you learn to speak better? And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I became a better speaker and the things and the tips and tricks that I used to go from, speaking like a absolute idiot to being able to speak on stages and be able to talk in front of people and groups of people without feeling shy or nervous. Okay, so the first thing that I had to realize or actually internalize is that I had to be okay fucking up. As a matter of fact, I had to be okay with people not liking me. And once I was okay with people not liking me, once I was okay with messing up and having flaws, I started to not really care as much about what the people around me said or thought. As a matter of fact, back in the day, people didn't really say I was bad at speaking. I just thought that. I just looked at them and I thought that they looked at me weird. And I just assumed that they thought I was bad at speaking and thought I looked like an idiot, right? They never actually said that to my face, but I thought that. More often than not, we create the situations in our head and we make them up. They're not actually true most of the time, which is amazing because it means that most people don't actually care how we talk. Because matter of fact, most people aren't good at speaking. Most people aren't good at communicating. And so if they're judging you, it's just their own insecurity projecting onto the world that they don't know what they're doing. And so once I realized that, I was a lot more free. I was able to speak at bigger events, in classrooms, in front of teachers and presentations, right? Because I now accepted the fact that, hey, I'm going to mess up. So will these other people because they're human, alrighty? But that's okay. But truth be told, I don't even care what they think. Because why would I care, right? Those people aren't where I want to be, so why would I care about their opinion? Their opinion doesn't impact my life at all, so why care? And once I dropped my feelings towards them, I instantly became a better speaker. However, I still wasn't that good of a speaker because I didn't practice speaking. And life went on, I didn't really pay much attention to it until I watched Tate. It's right here. And I was like, man, that guy speaks so well, so concisely. Right? He's a beautiful, elegant speaker. And I wanted to learn more about how to become a better speaker because at the time I was coaching, I was consulting, I was running a few communities, I was hopping on group calls, and I wanted to be able to be more impactful with my words. And so I studied a bit about what Tate did. How did he become a better speaker? The first thing that I picked up on is his vocabulary. He has a massive vocabulary with a plethora of different words that he can use at any given moment in time, which makes him appear smarter than he may be simply because he uses words that other people don't know. The second thing is body language. How is he sitting? How is he standing? And I realized that when I talked, I would talk like this. Closed off, right? Not a lot of movement. When 80% of communication is body language. It's actually non-verbal, right? It's how you look. It's your facial expressions. It's your hand movements. It's non-verbal stuff. It's 20% what you say. The other 80% is how you say it and how you present yourself. And so I realized that speaking is a lot more than just the words you say. It's how you present yourself, right? It's the cadence at which you speak, the tonality at which you speak in, right? Is it curious? Is it sad? What's the tonality you're speaking in? And once I started to pick up that there was different tonalities, different cadences, right? Different times to pause, I started to be more conscious when I spoke. I was also running a few communities at the time, taking a lot of group calls. And on some of my first group calls, I was very shy. As a matter of fact, I didn't even speak because I was so nervous to give an answer, to talk in front of people. And as time went on, I would answer more questions and answer more questions and answer more questions. And I would talk more in uncomfortable situations. And as I talked more and more and more in uncomfortable situations and was conscious of the words I was saying, how I was saying them, how I was presenting myself when I would watch call recordings back, I started to progress and progress and progress. And so I made a formula for becoming better at speaking. It's speaking more, so volume, plus uncomfortability, plus subconscious or conscious observation equals better speaking. So the amount of times you speak times or plus the uncomfortability of that speaking situation plus the level of consciousness you have while you speak equals how well you get at speaking. So what I mean by this is the more times you speak in uncomfortable situations and be conscious of what you say, the better you get. Because here's the thing, right? You can't have two of the three. You have to have all three. Because you could talk a lot, right? And be uncomfortable, but if you aren't conscious of what you're saying and trying to actively get better, you won't progress. Vice versa, you could, be conscious of what you're saying, but not be uncomfortable, be very comfortable, for example, talking with your dad or mom and speak a lot to them and still not get better. And then when you go talk to a girl, you freak out because you have to let your body adapt to these uncomfortable situations. Same like a muscle, right? Our muscles grow by getting put in certain situations that make our body need to adapt. The same way our speaking does. The more often we speak in a certain way, right, or perhaps in uncomfortable situations like cold approaching girls or talking in front of stages, in front of groups of people, the better and the more our body adapts to those situations. So when you're faced with those challenges again, your body has gone through it and therefore you're more adapted so you can do it again. And the last one is volume, right? You can't not have volume. If you talk uncomfortably in front of people, right, and are conscious, but you very rarely do it, you're not going to get better. You have to be consistent with it. The amazing thing about speaking is you do it all day, every day for most people. Right? We're almost always talking to people in some way, shape, or form. So if you're conscious of it and you put yourself out there, you will get better. One thing I urge you guys to do, an easy place to start, is just have more conversations with people, right? Instead of sending text messages, send audio messages. Instead of texting, call, right? Just start getting in the habit of talking more and then try and take it a step further. When you're at the grocery store, tell the girl her hair looks beautiful. Tell the old grandma her makeup looks good. Tell the dad over there you like his shirt. Go tell the cashier that she looks great. Ask her how her day is going. Strike up conversations with people in random situations. And trust me, it's going to be difficult. But if you just keep putting yourself in these uncomfortable situations where you're not necessarily, ready for, and you keep doing this over and over and over, and you're conscious of what you say, right? And you monitor your ums, your ahs, your pauses, right? And you monitor, what you say, etc., you'll become more adapted to it. And the more and more and more and more you do this, the better you become at speaking. The reason why most people suck at speaking is they don't speak a lot. And when they do get the opportunity to speak in a situation where they're not very, comfortable, they kind of shy away. They don't want to do it. But how are you ever going to get better if you don't do it? For example, how are you going to get bigger muscles if you don't go to the gym? You can't, right? And so we have to rise up to these situations. Yes, it may be uncomfortable, but that's the whole point. It's uncomfortable because you haven't put the reps in. That's why taking your shirt off at the lake with all your friends when they've worked out all year and you haven't is uncomfortable because they put the reps in and you didn't. So if you want to be more comfortable on stage or in groups or on sales calls or in front of family members or even girls, you have to start putting yourself in these situations. You got to put the reps in. Another good trick you can do is record yourself. Record yourself talking to somebody. Record yourself talking to your mom or to a friend and then to a random stranger. And notice the difference in your voice, in your cadence, right? In your baseline, in your tonality. You sound a lot more nervous when you talk to a stranger because you're scared. And that's fine. But it's being cognizant of these things that will help you progress. So that is how I went from being an introverted, shy, not well-spoken person to what some people have called me an expert speaker. Am I an expert speaker? By no means. No, not at all. That's people who just call me. But I like to think I've definitely progressed a lot in my speaking capabilities. Another shout out I will give is Vin. There's a guy named Vin on YouTube. He's got a crazy hairdo. He's an Asian guy. He's taught me a lot about speaking, a lot about how to get rid of your ums and ahs and put more emphasis on certain words, and a lot about the hand motions. So go check him out as well. That being said, that wraps up this video. If you want to join a community of other young, introverted, like-minded entrepreneurs who want to go out there, make a bunch of money, get nice bodies and get pretty girls, I got a free community where you can hop on calls with me, ask me any question you want, network with like-minded entrepreneurs, and get access to 100 plus hours of all the SOPs and trainings I've ever made for any of the companies I've ever started. Click the link down below. You can join entirely for free. There's no sign-up cost, entirely for free. I look forward to getting to meet you, seeing you on those calls. Other than that, have a great day. I'll catch you later. Peace. Oh, it didn't end. GG.